Hi, families. I'm Mr. Brooks. Thanks for taking the time to watch this presentation on understanding your kids' science class. And this is actually a presentation that I showed to your kids to help them understand science, and I just added some things that were specific to you as parents. So the first thing I want you to know is just a little bit about me. I've been teaching fifth grade for 22 years. I did 1 year also of fourth grade, so I'm in my 23rd year. I know fifth grade really well at this point. I joke with the kids, like, teaching 23 years of basically the same grade says one of two things about you. It either says you're crazy or you really enjoy the grade level. And for me, it might be a little bit of both, but I really enjoy the grade level mostly. Fifth graders they're able to live in two worlds. They live in the world of adults and are able to do adult-like things and have adult-like conversations, but they're still very much kids, and they love to have fun and enjoy themselves. So one of the things I'm going to work with your child on this year, more than anything this year, is really enjoying science, the subject of science, having fun doing it. So that is definitely something I always stress, but I'm definitely stressing in this year. Okay, so let's get started. The units of study that we are working on this year in science are weather, plants, environments, matter, and energy. Now, we're starting the year with weather, and I'm pretty sure we're going to move on to plants, then matter and energy, and ending with environments. But I always leave that a little bit flexible for a few different reasons. I almost always start with weather in the fall because of tornado season and hurricane season and connecting to those situations. And then the other three units I kind of play by ear, but I would tend to think we'll probably go on to plants next. In addition, we also have multiple STEM projects that we do in my science class. Now, this year is the first year that your child will also have a special class, STEM special class, with Mr. Funk, but I have developed a bunch of STEM projects that I use in my science classes over the years, and I really am committed to them. I really like them, so we're going to still do them. In my opinion, you can't have too much STEM. So, weather, plants, matter and energy, environments, and STEM will take up your kids' 90 days with me. And again, by the way, science is a half-year course. So your kids will have science for half the year with me and half the year with Mr. Fry for social studies. All right. I hope this doesn't confuse you. This is not meant to confuse you. It's meant to make life easier for your kids. I use Google Classroom to deliver content and give things back and forth between your kids and myself rather than Schoology. I find Google Classroom is much easier for them to understand. It's just a simpler interface. It's free. It's very easy for them to connect to. If your kid has been in school at all this year, they are already connected into my Google Classroom, and I've already been giving them things through that, and they've been accessing it. And that's also how they turn things back into me. So I do have a Schoology page, and it basically sends them to their Google Classroom page, just so you know. All right, your child's science grade in my class works like this. 45% of their grade is tests, 30% of their grade is quizzes, 25% of their grade are the projects, and those are the STEM projects that we're talking about. For tests, we have one test per unit, and I will give a study guide to your child far in advance, usually a week and a half or so, and I also email you telling you that that test is coming up. So they have a study guide that has everything they possibly need to know. They have plenty of time to finish it and study, and you're also made aware. Quizzes, I probably let you know about a week in advance. We have 2 quizzes per unit, and they're 30% of your child's grade. And there are Quizlets available for your kids to help with the vocabulary side. We also take daily notes. So around quizzes and tests, we'll be sending home your child's notes that are housed in the classroom, but we'll send them home for you to help study for tests and quizzes. And I'll always email you whatever email is in eSchool, that's what you'll get from me. We'll have 1 or 2 STEM projects per unit, and we have optional homework. Now, I've explained this to your child, but basically optional homework, there is a homework option that they can choose. It's at the front of our classroom every day. They can take up to 5 of them. Each one that they complete raises their grade in science 1%, for a total of 5% per marking period. So if they want to raise their grade in science class up to 5%, optional homework is the way to do it. And that optional homework is, just so you know, it's basically directing them to a really cool website called Wonderopolis, where they can study or research anything that they want. They fill out this sheet that I give them, asking them some questions about what they're studying, and it should take probably about 15 minutes per sheet. So a grand total of an hour or so could get them 5% added to their science grade. All right, this is something that your kids have also bookmarked on their computer. They've not only bookmarked their Google Classroom page with me, but they've also bookmarked what's called a Science Symboloo. And it's basically a fancy page for links. So these are all the different links that we're going to use in science. They're grouped by, in this corner we have weather, in this corner we have matter and energy, down here we have environments, and down here we have plants. And in each of the corners are the Quizlets. So weather, for example, for the first quiz you study this Quizlet, for the second quiz you study this Quizlet. Anything in the middle that's not a matching color, these are just good science sites that I like the kids to have. And this is on their computer already bookmarked. Okay, if your child's absent from my class, basically on their Google Classroom page, they can watch the presentation from anywhere in the world as long as they have the internet connection. So they can stay connected with what we're doing in class that day and check out the presentation from home. When they get back, they need to pick up a note-taking page and copy notes from a friend. Now, these are the skeletal notes that we're taking in class. I'm trying to teach them how to become note-takers this year. So they're going to pick up a note-taking page and copy notes from a friend. Or, as we talked about in class, even better, if you notice your friend is out and absent, take notes for them and put them in their folder when they get back. So I can't guarantee that that will happen, but that's another option for your child. Their notes might already be in their folder from a helpful classmate. And then when they've watched the presentation and have their notes, whatever they still don't understand, that's when I can try to meet with them during Barren time and fill them in on whatever they missed. But I am putting the onus on them as far as, figuring out what they missed and getting caught up before they see me. All right, so as a 5th grade parent, there's a lot of times like, what should I be doing and what should I not be doing? Here's my opinion. I think you should be checking in with them around quizzes and tests. I think that you should be making sure that they're going over their notes, encouraging them to complete their study guides. They are optional for tests, but as a parent, you definitely have the right to say, no, you need to do it. That's our family rule. So you're going to help them review notes, you're going to help them get their study guides done, and you're going to help them look back over presentations if they need it. So all of their old presentations for that quiz or test will be on their computer, and they can just go back through them, just kind of remind themselves what we've been learning. And remember, I'm going to be notifying you about quizzes and tests, so you don't have to guess when we're having quizzes and tests, you'll be notified. Remember, there's no required homework, but if you want to encourage or tell your child they need to take some of the optional homework to add extra credit to their grade, up to 5%, then that's your right as a parent. I totally support that. And finally, I say as a parent, if they do poorly on a test, so if you know that a test happened that day, the next day ask them how they did on the test. And if they tell you they did poorly, please help me in encouraging them to retake it by studying more. Your kids can retake tests. They cannot retake quizzes in my class. And they can retake tests as many times as they want, and I will give them their highest grade, no penalties, that they finally get. And I'll have an optional Zoom meeting later tonight if you need to ask me anything, or you can just email me any questions if that's easier for you. I prefer to actually communicate by email, and I put my email up on the screen. So that's what I know. I hope I can help your child love science as much as I do, and I'm going to do my absolute best to have a very fun year in science. Hopefully they're already enjoying it. Ask them about our class, see if they're enjoying it, and I hope I get good reviews from your child because I'm trying my best to make this year fun. Thanks, everybody.